Cornhole Nation, for the first time ever on the film room, I'm going to be looking at not the advanced division, not the pro division. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to analyze a game, break down a game for you of our competitive division, give you an idea of some strategies and some skill sets that some of our social and competitive players can utilize, and something that you can take home even if you're not a pro or advanced level player. This game at the 2019 ACL Bag Brawl between Jose Machado and Edward Vallejo against Dustin Parkins and Doug Rippy was a great one. It was a nail biter. We're going to break it down here on the Film Room. Alright guys, we're going to kick off this episode a few rounds in here. This round is going to be between Vallejo and Rippy. Rippy on the left in the pink, Vallejo in the red and blue jersey. And that first bag off to the side is something that you might be used to seeing at that social and competitive level every so often. That bag off the side really sets the tone for the round. Rippy is going to have the mentality of, if I can just finish in the hole all my bags, I'm going to get a minimum of 3 points. Whereas Vallejo is going to have to try to get creative here. Maybe some blocks, maybe some bunches up in the hole to try to limit his damage just to 1 point. Get Rippy to miss a bag either left or right and set yourself up to not give up 3 or more. Rippy, of course, follows up in the hole, and then Vallejo's next shot is a block, which is something that you kind of anticipate. And so what Rippy is going to be faced with here is really a decision to make. He can airmail, which is extremely aggressive, given that there's really no room in between the bag and the hole. He can try to push all the bags in. He does have a flat block here, which means a push won't be overly difficult, but it is going to require precise accuracy, or he can lay up behind for a double block. And that is actually what he's going to try to do, is double block. Because his mentality is, we're each going to have 2 bags left. My opponent is going to have to make both airmails. I only have to make one to wash it out. If my opponent misses his next shot, well, then I'm sitting real pretty. I'm up 3 points. I have 2 bags in my hand, and my opponent only has 1 bag left. So a double block when your opponent already has a bag off the board is actually a pretty smart strategy. Now, the problem is when you're blocking on an open board and when you're double blocking behind another bag, those are actually 2 different shots. What Rippy is going to attempt to do here is throw the bag really soft because he doesn't want to push this bag in. Now the problem is he doesn't have to throw it that soft. He has resistance right here. He can throw a normal slide shot, and if he throws that normal slide shot, he's going to end up behind this bag no matter what, just because he's got extra resistance in front of him. He doesn't have to throw a slick, it's not as if he's throwing the slick side. He doesn't have to throw a push, but if you throw it too light, you can end up too far up the board, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. He's going to try to take too much off of it and end up really short of the block. What that does is it opens the door for Vallejo to try a normal slide shot or maybe a push shot. All he has to do is change his landing point from here just a little bit up to here, and he can fully recover from the bag off the board. Unfortunately, it does give him a little bit of kick, but he did what he wanted to. And now Rippy is left with a shot of trying to do the same thing, landing here and straight up into the hole. He's able to hit that. Vallejo hits his second shot, and then Rippy ends it in the hole and he gets 3 points. Really, the moral of the story here is when bags are on the board obstructing the shot, you have to understand the speed in which you want to throw the bag. If you throw a normal shot, you'll end up double blocking. If you throw it harder, you'll end up pushing through. If you throw slick side and throw the normal shot, it'll behave like a push shot. So you just have to understand speed as a result of the game and the certain situation that it calls for. All right, guys, we're going to jump a little bit forward into this game here. 11-6 is our score right here. This round's got some interesting nuances to it. This first bag by Vallejo off the right side really gives me an opportunity to talk about a bully bag and the opposite of a bully bag. So you guys have heard me use that term bully bag a lot. And let's for a second pretend that we can switch these two, and now Doug Rippy is throwing from this side of the board. If he wanted to execute a bully shot or a bully bag, what he would want to do is throw it directly at this bag, continue this bag's momentum this way, pushing it out of the way, and his bag ricochets it into the hole. That sets himself up from the beginning +2 on the round. So that would be a bully bag shot is if he had a better angle. Now, the opposite of a bully bag is when the bag is on your side. So now Rippy is actually angling from this side. So we talk about a bully bag, you want to throw it directly at your opponent's bag. On the opposite, if you're on the opposite side, you want to completely avoid your opponent's bag, because if you hit it at the angle like this, it's going to continue the bag's momentum this way, just like a bully bag would on the opposite direction. Now, the problem with that is right now there's only a small sliver of the bag sitting over the hole. If you were to move this bag this way, a larger portion of the bag would now be sitting over the hole, making the possibility of your opponent dragging the bag into the hole much higher. Rippy does a great job on his first bag of avoiding it. Vallejo follows up with a block. And then unfortunately for Rippy, he does what he doesn't want to do. And that is he continued this bag's momentum this way. And now instead of just a small sliver or a quarter of the hole, we have maybe a third plus of the bag is now over the hole, leaving the possibility for an airmail to still happen. When Vallejo makes his third bag shot, he puts it on the side of the hole. Now, Rippy has chosen very slick bags. Okay, if he had chosen very tacky bags or even just middle slickness bags, what would happen is this bag would sit right here when he tries a normal slide shot. That's great if you want to plug the hole. If Rippy was plugging the hole here, he's probably setting up the rest of the round as a wash. But since his bags are very slick, he decides to go into the hole, and he makes his way in here and now is sitting +2 on the round. Now, there is a risk and there is a reward, and there are some other things to consider when making that type of bag selection. Yes, the slicker bag allowed for Rippy's bag to go in without taking Vallejo's, meaning that he is +2 on the round. However, without plugging the hole, he has left himself susceptible to these two bags being able to drug into the hole, which puts a decision onto Vallejo. Do I do what Rippy just did, try to slide straight in, and assuming Rippy is going to do the exact same again, I'm essentially conceding 2 points for the round. I'm going to give Rippy his 2 points. Or do I try a very tough airmail and drag both of these bags in and then make Rippy make his last shot, and if he makes it, he gives up 2 points, and 2 points goes to Vallejo. Or if Rippy misses his last shot, you can possibly get 4 points if you're Vallejo. I spend a lot of time doing a lot of math here, and it really comes down to the difference at the pro level and the difference at the social level. What Vallejo is going to end up doing is trying a slide shot, and I believe at the social and competitive level, it's the right call. Across the board, social and competitive players have about a 30% airmail percentage. Okay? At the pro level, it's closer to 60%. So really, you have a double the odds at the pro level of hitting an airmail. If you're to miss the airmail, you leave yourself open to give up 5 points. If you hit the airmail and then your opponent misses the next bag, you have a chance to score 4 points, meaning there is a very wide range here. You could give up as many as 5 points. You could you could earn as many as 4 points. That's a 9-point differential based on your decision here. At the social and competitive level, not having a lot of confidence in that shot, I am apt to side with what Vallejo is about to do, and that's play a little bit of conservatism. The reason I'm okay with conservatism here is when you have a point differential of 9 points on a single shot, that one that you are not 100% confident in, you could set yourself up to give the game away in one throw. At the pro level, maybe you think about taking the shot if you're very aggressive and you are confident in your ability to hit that airmail. Vallejo ends up plugging the hole here. Again, we talk about bag selection. Those bags just being tackier than Rippy's bags. Rippy, wanting to avoid that bag completely, is going to end up throwing this bag off the side. And in the end, it's just going to be 1 point for Rippy and Parkins. So all of that analysis, all of that math just for a single point. And I think both teams will take that given the extreme possibility of what could have happened in the round. All right, guys, we're going to fast forward again, and this is a tight one, 17-17. This time we're going to look at Machado and Parkins. And the first few bags here go in the hole on simple slide shots, and where it really starts to get interesting is right here. It's 17-17, so you need 4 points to win. And this is really something I want to emphasize, the difference between the competitive and social divisions separate from the pro divisions. And if we look here, this next bag by Jose Machado is going to tempt him, and it's end up going to put him in a position where he could have won the game if he had not been tempted. So this bag, with just a sliver of the bag sitting over the hole on a slick side, is going to make Jose Machado think about an airmail in this situation. Machado's confident in his airmails. You heard it beforehand that he thinks he can shoot 90% on them. Well, if you're that confident in them, it makes me think that you want to shoot the airmail. The problem is sometimes it can get you overconfident to the point where you got to look at what's in front of you and you got to look at the statistics on shooting the airmail. Parkins is going to follow up this shot going off. Now, what Machado is thinking is with these two bags back here off the board, if I can airmail and drag this bag, I'm going to win the game. Simple as that. But the problem is, at the competitive and at the social level, airmails are such a lower percentage of the shot, okay? And you can't see it here, but Dustin Parkins still has a bag left. In this round, you've already seen him miss a bag here, and you've seen him miss a bag here. To an extent, you have to say to yourself, wait a second, why do I put the pressure on myself to make this airmail when Parkins in this round hasn't even proven to me that he can make a slide shot in this particular round? Now, at the pro level, I'm talking to a different audience. At the pro level, when you're hitting 60% airmails or better, you absolutely want to drag this bag because your opponent is more than likely going to make a slide shot on his next bag, no problem. But at the social and the competitive levels, forget about this bag. Forget about it. Kick it out of here. We don't need it. Don't worry about it. Throw your slide shot and put the pressure on your opponent to hit his or her last slide shot. Because you're going to see in a second here, Jose Machado is going to try to go for this game-winning airmail. The problem is it kicks right and hits, or not kicks right, it hits the right side of the hole and misses. Now, the problem is Dustin Parkins also misses. If Jose Machado had just slid his bag in, he would have if he had just slid his bag in, he would have won the game right here. At the pro level, pros are making slide shots about 80% of the time. Social players are making slide shots only at about 50% of the time, and competitive players about 65% of the time. So you had a chance to shoot an airmail for a drag for probably around 30% chance to win the game, or you had probably a 35% chance of your opponent missing his last slide shot. So, may not seem like much, but in this situation, that extra 5% probably would have been the difference between winning the game on this exact throw. All right, this last round of the game here is a great one. It's going to kind of pull together all these different ideas that I talked about, all these different shots we've been talking about recently, and kind of combine them into one round. We're going to start off here. Classic, a V block. We talked about it a lot. An angled block at the front of the hole, and that's really going to affect Doug Rippy's ability to try to double block or just try to go through it. You see there, he hit, went to the side. That leaves the door open for Vallejo to four-bag it for the win, if he can do it. But he comes up a little bit short, doesn't throw it hard enough. So then, you remember last episode we talked about this idea of the double diamonds here, the two bags sitting in front of the hole. If you hit one side, you can replace it. If you hit this side, you're going to kick this way and go in. But if you go right up the center just perfectly, you can create that three-way block, that three-bag stretch across the hole that prevents any other bags from going in. Unfortunately, he doesn't hit it exactly how he wants to, and that leaves that bag off to the side. So Vallejo throws his next one, and he almost bullies himself out of the way a little bit. He comes this way, hits his bag. He doesn't want to bully it too much, but goes this way. So then what did we talk about at the beginning of this episode? We talk about if you're Rippy, when the bag is on your side, you can't bully it, so you need to try to avoid it completely. Doug Rippy's next shot. He doesn't do it. He touches it, and he brings it even closer, which means for the win, Vallejo only has to execute a simple slide shot and bring the bag in front of the hole into the hole for the win, and he does it. Him and Machado emerge as competitive doubles champions from the 2019 ACL Bag Brawl, hitting 3 of the different specialty shots that we've talked about over the past 2 episodes of the Film Room, doing it with style. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little dive into the competitive division here on the Film Room. We'll be bringing you some more action, some more different events that we've had in the past coming up on the next few episodes. Like I said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this for the American Cornhole League. This is Trey Ryder. We'll see you guys next time on the Film Room.